My songs know what you did in the dark. So light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, up. I'm on fire. So light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, up.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. Today we are going to take a look at the upcoming season for the Dallas Stars and what they need to do to get themselves back in a playoff position. So, looking at their off season coming up, they got a couple of well-known commodities that will be looking for new contracts. They'll have a couple of positions to address for sure. So on Friday, they announced the hiring of Jim Montgomery from the University of Denver. He'll be taking over for Ken Hitchcock, who announced his retirement after a one-year return to Dallas. He coached there in the past. As a matter of fact, he was the head coach for their only Stanley Cup championship in 1999. So among their notable free agents coming up, you've got Antoine Roussel, Devin Shore, and Matthias Janmark, and Jamel Smith that's their current crop of free agents for the forward positions. Defense, they have Dan Hamhuis, Greg Pattern, and Stephen Johns. Johns is an RFA. And then goaltender, the only goaltender they currently have under contract is Ben Bishop. So looking at those free agents, not sure whether or not they'll be active to bring Antoine Roussel back. Currently they have about $56 million wrapped up towards the salary cap next year. Most analysts are projecting about an $80 million salary cap, so plenty of room for them to work in some contracts in the upcoming off season. I think Janmark will probably be tendered under his RFA designation, as well as Devin Shore will probably be tendered as well. Jamel Smith will probably not receive the tender. Stephen Johns as well on the defense will definitely be tendered. I think they will move on from Kari Lehtinen, who has been mostly a disappointment for his time in Dallas. Goaltending in general has been a position of weakness for Dallas in years past. Bringing in Montgomery as the new head coach is an interesting hire. Coming straight from the college ranks to the NHL, there's not been very many head coaches that have made that leap. Dave Haxtell for Philadelphia being the most recent. And other than that, you'd have to go back into the early 90s to find a hire coming straight out of college. But in reading up on him and studying his history, players that have played for him in the college ranks were pretty adamant about his ability to succeed in difficult circumstances, and the University of Denver is one of the more difficult circumstances because they have an expectation of collegiate success, and he did win a national championship with Denver in 2017. He interviewed for the Florida Panthers job last year and was a highly touted coaching prospect then. So I think it's a good hire for Dallas to get him in and hopefully hopefully get him some success early. And he has a reputation of being very good with younger players, and Dallas is consistently one of the younger rosters in the NHL. And looking forward with as much cap space as Dallas has, and I think most every team will be making an attempt to sway bigger free agents in. There's none bigger this year than John Tavares, and with almost $25 million worth of available cap space, you would have to think that Dallas could be a contender for John Tavares, and he would definitely be an upgrade over Spezza on the first line. Not that Spezza's a bad player, but his age at 34, you replace him with Tavares, who I believe will be 24 or 26, I think, this offseason. So it'd definitely be an upgrade in the age department, and probably an upgrade on the stat sheet as well for him. It's putting him between Jamie Benn and Alexander Radulov would instantly make Dallas one of the most formidable top-line teams. On the back end, I think there's definitely some upgrades to be made. You probably have to replace Pattern, who will probably be looking for big money on the open market, or looking for at least a raise on the open market. He could be a $1.5 to $2 million a year type defenseman, mostly because the limited availability of right-handed puck-moving defensemen, and he would definitely fall into that category. Johns as well, as a restricted free agent, he's probably going to be due for a pay increase in arbitration. So there's lots of empty slots on Dallas's roster, but a lot of money available under the cap to get them back into a position of compete. They have a full complement of draft picks this year. Looks like they have 8 picks, including Chicago's 4th round pick, which they received for the Johnny Oduya trade. I believe they will be drafting around 13th. So, yeah, they'll be drafting 13th in the entry draft this year, which will take place in Dallas. So I would assume in the early rounds of the draft, they'll probably be looking to address the forward position and try to get some depth scoring behind that top line, and that would all also depend on what they do to address those positions in free agency. So that's my take on what I think Dallas may do moving forward. Again, I'm a huge fan of the Montgomery hiring. I think he adds a lot to the younger players to help them develop. So let me know what you guys think with Dallas moving forward. What should they do in free agency? What is their biggest area of concern in free agency in the draft? What do you guys think of the Jim Montgomery hiring, and what's your guys' outlook on where Dallas can finish next season? Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're just passing through. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.